Why are you broke? You're broke because you own no assets. That's it. You're broke because you own no assets. Let's face it. Broke people own nothing but liabilities. Uh-huh. They own liabilities, stuff that takes money out of your pocket. And wealthy people own assets. That could have been a 10-minute lesson when we were 10 years old, 11 years old, and that would have changed our entire lives. Welcome back to another episode of the MD Investor, where we talk money, we talk finances, okay? We talk how to get out of the rut that we're in. Why are poor people broke? Poor people are broke because they do not own assets. What are assets? Assets are simply things that put money in your pocket. Assets put money in your pocket, right? And if you own enough of these, they go up in value. They tend to go up in value. You hold them for a long time and they increase in value. And then you could sell them later on and you could live off that, right? Or they pay some type of recurring income like dividends or rents in the case of a rental property. And it's as simple as that. You do not need a PhD in finance. You do not need to go to grad school. You do not need a PhD in finance. You just need to accumulate enough assets. And that's why poor people are poor, because they don't. What poor people do is they buy liabilities that they think are assets, such as cars. We know about the flashy car. They would have an expensive car, paying $1,000 a month, car note, and have that parked in front of the projects. Does that make any sense at all? Buying something, probably not all cash, probably have a car loan, buying something that's going down in value. Your car that you bought for $80,000 in a couple of years is going to be worth $30,000, $20,000, right? Depending on the mileage and so on. But you paid more than $80,000 because you had to pay the bank because you took a car loan, and you do that repeatedly, right? When that car gets old, you junk it, you sell it, and then you get another one and repeat the cycle all over again. You will live in an apartment that you're paying rent to a landlord for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, not building up any equity or ownership in that apartment. Not so you pay rent every month, $2,000, $3,000 a month, not building up any equity or ownership in that apartment. All those benefits are going to the owner, the landlord. That's why ownership has privileges, right? They have a credit card that says membership has privilege. No, ownership has privileges. No, ownership has privileges, because if you own the rental property, if you own the assets, the benefits go to you. But we've been miseducated to think that having shiny stuff to impress people is a sign of wealth. No, it's a sign of financial miseducation. It's a sign of financial miseducation. What it shows is that you're not smart when it comes to money. When you play the game Monopoly, who wins that game and who loses? The person who wins that game is the person who has a lot of assets, a lot of properties, with lots of hotels and houses. And cash flow follows assets. Because you have all those properties, houses and hotels, rent. You owe me rent, pay 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 me rent. Cash flow follows assets. And who loses that game? The person who loses that game is the person that has no assets or only a small amount of assets, and their liabilities exceed their assets. That's who loses the game. You're paying out more money in rent than you're receiving. You're paying out more. You're paying out more money in rent than you are receiving. Yeah. So the game of Monopoly is very apt to explain why we are broke. You simply don't have enough assets. Okay. Now, that's why poor people are poor. They simply don't have enough assets. Why are wealthy people wealthy? Wealthy people are wealthy because they have lots of assets. They have lots of assets, and we said income follows assets. So they may have a restaurant, they may have a construction company, they may have a law firm, they may own a medical practice. But whatever it is an asset that generates income, and it's also untethered from their time. That business is generating income whether they're there or not. When you can pull yourself away from the business, then it becomes more passive. Maybe in the beginning you can, maybe in the beginning you're working, but then as you begin to hire more people and delegate, you can step back. So they have assets, right? Such as a business. They have assets such as real estate, right? They may have real estate. They may have commercial real estate, industrial real estate. They may have residential real estate where they're getting rents from. Those are assets. Okay. Income follows assets. They may have dividend stocks that are generating dividend income. They may have stocks that go up in value or appreciate in value that they sell, and they have capital gains. That's income. Income follows assets. And the reason why poor people are poor, because they have no assets, so therefore there's no income. Their income comes from one place, their job, their salary, and their time is tied to it. That's why they control you, because you have no income except for your salary. Okay? If you pull your salary, they have one stream of income, and it's tied to their time. And that's why that's why your time is not yours. Your time is not yours. You are an asset to somebody else. You are an asset to your employer. They say, yeah, we have 1,000 employees working at this business, and you are one of them. The revenue that you generate from your energy and your effort and your skill may be 100 times what they give you at an hourly rate. You are an asset to your employer. That's right. You are an asset to your employer. They need you to run that business. Now, assets, examples of assets that we can easily get, regular everyday people, are businesses. We don't have to run these corporations, but we can have small ownership in them. That's where your stock comes in, individual stock. You can have a stock, you can buy stocks and share, you can buy stocks or shares in publicly traded corporations. Apple, Amazon, Google, Home Depot, or you can buy stocks in an ETF, which is a basket of individual stocks. They may be 50, 100, 500 companies in this one ETF, such as an S&P 500 ETF. These are owned. Now you become an owner. A perfect example is the banks. You can be a customer of the bank and get 0.0001% interest rate, or you could be an owner of the bank by owning the bank stocks. When the bank goes up in value, you share in the growth of the bank. When they pay a dividend, you benefit from that. Warren Buffett, the chairman of Berkshire Hathaway, owns about $5 billion worth of stock in Coca-Cola. When he gets dividends, he gets about $140 million in dividends every quarter. So the take-home message is cash flow follows ownership. We need to buy assets, therefore we become owners, and we will get cash flow. Enough of the liabilities. Enough of the liabilities. It's time to get assets. Another video from MD Investor. Share, like, hit the subscription bell, and I'll see you on the next one. MD Investor out.